Okay, so this was the day when I finally decided to record a couple of the exercises that I am performing. I have been doing for the last couple of weeks or so in a superset fashion to try and appease this annoyed left side of my hip that has really become worse and worse over the last month or so. This is still stuff from over a week ago, and I've been away and I was trying and catching up with everything. So what I was doing in here was basically pairing a unilateral leg exercise that is basically a half single leg squat that is targeting the piriformis in a couple of different ways. First of all, from a stability perspective, the fact that I'm on one leg is definitely using the small stabilizing muscles around the hip girdle to try and keep myself vertical and upright. And as I am going down, I am challenging a certain degree of hip flexion and extension in combination with those. And then I am supersetting that with a pure isolation movement that is basically just hip abduction with a bit of internal and external rotation. So I am trying to target the piriformis in a bunch of different ways that are pumping blood in there, but while trying to stay as discomfort-free as possible. And that is ideally achieved by making the repetitions as slow as I possibly can, so that there is not really that big dynamic component that could throw a wrench in the thing. The main issue is still the fact that it's not the problem when I am directly targeting that area with specific exercises that are meant to make things feel better. It's the other 23 and some hours where just normal day-to-day movements that are not really conscious could actually trigger pain again. So this is an issue that I am yet to figure out, and it's gonna take some more time, and it's not great, but what can I do? In this session, I was also going up in weight on the dips. They were the dips, and I unfortunately found out that even heavy bracing of my core while my legs are not really on the floor were actually giving me a bit of a discomfort, painful sensation in the piriformis, and that led me to think that core bracing is really something that involves the whole torso and also the hip muscles. So basically all the muscles are contracting, and because of that, the piriformis is probably kind of tensing, thinking that something is coming up, and that is putting pressure on the nerve, and that's giving me the painful sensation. I wasn't really feeling that on the single leg squats, but I did feel those on the dips, which is not great. And as I was going up in weight on dips, that was probably also something that was impacting the core bracing to some extent, even though I was going down in rep range to the beginning of it, starting with 6 reps that I will be progressing in the future. As the week, this was the last session before I flew away for a week or so, and during that time I was not really doing too much training in the normal sense. I was playing a lot of sports. I actually managed to go skiing for a couple of days, so there were a bunch of different days where I wasn't really recording anything, and it gave me a chance to experiment with different stuff and finding out whether the hip is giving me discomfort. And most sports were actually okay. I played volleyball, I played football, I played basketball, and the only real discomfort that I felt playing sports was really snowboarding, because of all the sitting and hip movement that happens over there. And obviously I did not really want to trigger the pain further, but since this is something that's happening on a day-to-day basis, it was not really a good excuse to avoid skiing and snowboarding for the only time this year that I will be able to do that. So now let's see how things go. Ciao.